we have a special guest in the building, our favorite, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. You know him from Baldy's Breakdowns at Baldy NFL. It's Brian Baldinger. He's here for all 3 hours, and he's taking over the Bay this weekend. What up, Baldy?
Good morning. Good morning, guys. Woo, man. It's good to be with you. I mean, being from NFL Films on, Tuesdays when I join you guys is one thing, but being live here, I see you guys are on YouTube. You can find us anywhere. I got a buddy from Jersey calling, like, how do I listen to the show? It's just great to see you guys, man.
YouTube, Twitch, Xfinity Mobile text line. We're going to ask Baldy anything. We have plenty of questions, a plethora of questions for Baldy today. Talking all football, talking anything.
I know.
Anything.
I knew my day was going to go well. I went Starbucks traveling, Bonte, this morning to try to get some coffee, and I was trying to get food. I was going to get donuts. Everything was closed. And so I was running late, but I knew the day would turn around because as I'm coming into the studio, I've got my key card in my mouth. I'm carrying all this stuff. I see Baldy with our boss, and it looked like, what's that movie with Danny DeVito and
Twins?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger and
DeVito. Giant human
Hey, Matt,
being.
that's not a compliment out there.
God bless Matt Hegan. He looks so little compared to Baldy. And I said, this day can't get any better.
Twins.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito. He's got better hair, though. At least Matt Hegan's got his hair. He's got his box cut. He's got his box cut rolling.
That never changes.
No, that never changes, man. He's got the box cut.
He might be 100 pounds overweight, but he got the box
He's
cut,
got
man.
the box cut.
You
As
said
long
it,
as the
not me.
lining's there, it's all good. Once you start receding, it's all bad, especially if you're short. But look, we're going to talk a lot of football here. We got to line them up, 888-957-9570. Ask Baldy anything. We're going to break down Brock Purdy, the Niners, but I do want to ask about, he's going to break down the Raiders a little bit later, so I won't grill him on that.
Yeah.
But Baker Mayfield's finest moment in the NFL.
Let's put that, for 1 second, put that on pause. I want to start with some fun. I want to have a recurring theme. One of our favorite things on the show, we love music, okay?
Yep.
Bonte is a hip-hop aficionado. I have a more diverse portfolio. Baldy,
I don't.
I know. Well, no, Baldy, I think you've got great taste. I think
Okay.
you've got great taste
Yeah.
because you're kind of a taste maker, if you ask me. I want to start here. Baldy, what are the 5, 6, 7 bands or artists that you would say are your favorite ones in terms of music?
Well, I mean, look, I probably have been to 150 Springsteen shows around the world. Okay, so I mean, I lived in Europe. Springsteen being in Europe, I'd get the pass. I could go anywhere.
Okay.
Because what happened with the Springsteen band, they started getting old, so they used to give me like a tour pass, and they'd go, "You go out and you have you take your boys out, have some fun in Stockholm, wherever we were at." Then come back and entertain us with the stories because we can't do that anymore. So, I'm in Milan, wherever, and so anyways, we had a lot of fun for a lot of tours, but it starts with Springsteen.
So Springsteen,
U2, best show I ever saw was in Dusseldorf, Germany, with U2.
Dusseldorf.
I mean, I like Van
Morrison.
Van Morrison, okay. Yeah, like Van
My
Morrison.
brother would love that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I could keep going on and on and on.
Just give me like 5 or 6.
Stones,
okay,
obviously.
Love the Stones, yeah.
Stones.
Little tongue out.
Yeah.
Now, Baldy, you don't pay for any concerts. You've let that be known. And so there's a concert, not necessarily a concert, but a comedy show. Sunday, it's Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle at Chase Center. And you're going to be calling Bucks and Niners Sunday down in Santa Clara. And that show starts around 8 o'clock. So I'm figuring we could all tag along with you and try to sneak into Chase Center to go see Chappelle and Chris Rock. I don't know how that's going to work, but I figure you find a way. There's a will, there's a way.
There's a way. Yeah, I know people, in that industry, not the comedy club, but the concert venue industry. So there's some phone calls that I could make. And if you needed an escape out of there, we can figure out the escape.
One of the first questions, real quick,
let's get
since we're going to have some fun here.
Yes.
510, Xfinity Mobile text line.
Give it to me.
Good morning, guys. Welcome, Baldy. Do you play fantasy football?
Yeah, do you?
And what's your team name? That's from our boy Oreo Cookie.
I don't play. I did play once.
Okay.
It was the year that Tom Brady got hurt in the first quarter against the Chiefs.
No way.
And Brady was my quarterback.
Who was in your league? That's what I want to know because Baldy, we were doing a game. I was thinking, who is in this man's Rolodex? Like in your contact list for
Well,
phone?
back then I was doing games at Fox, Joe. So I mean, it was the Fox.
Okay.
So all
Bradshaw.
the analysts.
Right.
Yeah, Bradshaw was probably in it.
JD.
Howie Long, Kurt Menefee.
There's no way you guys got Madden in that fantasy league.
No.
Who won?
I don't even know, because once Brady got hurt, I was like, well, what do you do?
You're done.
I'm counting on 40 touchdown passes.
Matt Castle.
Like, I lost interest.
You didn't pick up Matt Castle.
Yeah, that's a good call. I don't think I did pick up Matt Castle.
Baldy, just to give you an idea, right now I have Aaron Rodgers this year. Like he fell to like the 10th, 11th round. I was like, oh, I'll swoop him up. It's been a disastrous year. It's the first time I'm not going to make the playoffs.
Except when he throws to Watson.
What is going on with Aaron Rodgers this year? Is it the roster? Is it him? Is it a combination of that and play calling? Like, why is he so bad?
Well, I think for when they lost games early on, like to the Jets and to the Giants, like they could not complete a deep ball.
Gotcha.
There was none. And that was Devontae's act forever. Yeah. And they couldn't finish drives, and that was Devontae's act. So, they had Romeo Doubs, and, they had different guys that were stepping in, but they just weren't productive. Now, Christian Watson's come on big time over the last month, but that was it. And then the defense could be the league's worst.
Really?
Like, when the Eagles run for 363 yards and run the same play at you, and they have no idea how to fix it. Like, their defensive front is really, really poor, but their tackling is poor. Like, it's just a mess on that side of the ball.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, because we're both fantasy football nuts, and I'm in 4 leagues, Baldy, and that's low for me. That's low. I can't help it.
Really?
I love football. It's too much. I know. Everybody's like, they send me an invite, and I'm like, you know what? It feels like money on the table.
Let me ask you this, Bonte.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because my mother plays, right? So my mom's winning her league. She's 89. Right?
I love this.
So my mother tells me that she wakes up in the middle of the night now, and she's got her tablet there, and she's trying to find a backup running back.
Oh, yeah. She's trying to find
She's addicted.
She's 89.
Yeah, that's
good.
Look at depth charts.
Can she just get a good night's sleep?
I'm up early trying to find a different. You can look at our lads on a depth chart, and I'm thinking, okay, Josh Jacobs has a broken finger. I need to go look at Zamir White or something. Do I throw the guys on Zamir White? But
James
one quarterback, James Cook, right? But I'm in 4 leagues, right? 3 of them are making the playoffs.
Okay.
Feel real good about it. The one league that I got to win to get in, I had to start Derek Carr last night. I shared this to my buddy who's a Raider fan. He's a Raider fan. He goes, I'm like, Trevor Lawrence, and look, we pick him between Trevor Lawrence and Derek Carr. I'm like, dude, let's just start Trevor Lawrence. He can run a little bit. He's going to get us rushing yards. I don't know about Carr. We start Derek Carr last night, and it's just been an underwhelming season, and he has Devontae Adams. What's going on with Derek Carr? Because Raider fans are blowing me up. Josh Jacobs is having a phenomenal season.
A monster. Well, pace like 400 carries.
Well, he's the most yards by a Raider runner ever. 1,400 yards right now.
Really?
Check that out.
Bo?
Check that out.
Yeah. Last night he was like at 1,390, I believe.
He finished with 1,402.
Yep.
Wow.
He's at 1,402 right now, which I think is the most in Raider history.
That's incredible.
Now, I know the stat people out there would tell me I'm wrong. Right. If I'm wrong, that's fine. But I think it is. But, Devontae's on pace to have as good a year as he's ever had until last night. And I'm watching it, I'm going, okay, I know Jalen's on him. But that's where you need a coach. That's where you need, like, these man beaters. You need some picks. You need Steph Curry coming off a double screen. Like, where are they? He can't just do it all by himself with his releases, route running. I mean, he made 2 phenomenal catches last night. But, like, Devontae needed to be targeted 12 times in that game.
12 times.
No, but like I had Renfro in fantasy, and like Renfro MIA. I don't know if he's been hurt. I know he's hurt now, but like, it's just, is it McDaniels? Is it Carr?
Well, Waller's been hurt too. Waller's had
but he wasn't doing anything when he was there.
Yeah. So what is it?
Honestly, I just like remember when they got shut out by the Saints. Yeah, they got shut out.
Yeah,
yeah, well aware.
I'm watching the game. They had Alontae Taylor, this rookie corner on him. Nice player, really good player from Tennessee. Like you acted like he was. Honestly, like Dion out there. Like, they didn't even look at Devontae in that game. He caught 1 pass for 5 yards. So I'm going, like, where is the movement? When he was in Green Bay, I mean, everything was built around Devontae. And it should. Like, he'd be in the slot. He'd be in motion. He'd be in double motion, back and forth. They had screens for him. They had him in the backfield, coming out of the backfield. All the things that you see with Justin Jefferson now.
Yes.
Like, they don't do that. And so the offense just looks old. To me, it looks old and it looks stale. Now I know they were on a 3-game win streak. They won 2 overtime games and they won big, before last night's game. And Josh was a big part of it, and that's good. The running game was good. The offense line came along, but this is as good a receiver we've ever seen in this business. What he can do to people, but he needs some help.
And they've had 2 of the worst losses I think this season. One to Jeff Saturday and the Colts. You lose that game at home, and then you lose yesterday with Baker. Basically having 48 hours to study the playbook.
The way a defense should look at that game last night, and I don't care if you're Max Crosby or whoever, Chandler Jones, pick a guy. Like, you're saying to yourself, as soon as he comes in the game, he ain't beating us.
Yep.
Like when I was on teams that were like I played with the Eagles with Reggie White and these guys, like their attitude was that guy's not beating us. We're going to put him in a body bag. Like that's how they thought. Like there's no way this guy's going to beat us.
On the Baker thing for just a second, like I always remember when Josh Freeman got swooped up in the middle of the week, and the poor guy had to go out there, and it looked like a nightmare. I mean, he was just overwhelmed. How did Baker do that last night? Baldy, like for the casual football fan, I don't think we can understand how much got thrown at him in a 48-hour span. How much did he already know? Like that seemed ridiculously difficult last night.
It did, and I was amazed because even when they were struggling and they had 3 points up until the 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, he still completed passes though.
Right,
and some of them were timing, just the way Brock Purdy did, last week to Christian McCaffrey, which are difficult. You don't really know which way his guy's going to break. So I'm sure that even Ben Skoranek, like he probably didn't know how to pronounce his last name, and he's throwing these passes to him last night. But the first thing a quarterback does when they come in is you learn the protections. So you sit down with McVay and the staff, and okay, this is the protect. You're on a plane. They've already got you the playbook uploaded to your tablet, right? So you're watching it on the plane. Coming from Charlotte, wherever he's coming from. And so he's got 5 hours, and he's a quarterback nerd. He walked on at Texas Tech. He walked on at Oklahoma. He started day one, well, not day one, but like third game against Cleveland. So he knows concepts, he knows plays. The big thing is protections, how they protect me. If they overload this way, if they're in the A gaps, like what are we doing? How are we squeezing? Are they blocking inside out? Like so, he gets that down.
Yeah.
So he has an idea of that. Then McVay's in his ear. So he's one nerd talking to another nerd. So So he's got the plays on his wrist. He's like play number 1.
Yeah.
So it could be power 49, Nero pinch, quarterback pass, X, whatever. Okay, whatever it is. And so, but then Sean is in his ear tagging him, going, okay, if the front side is shut down, you got this on the backside. So he's tagging it like that. So Baker understands that, and it might get a little wordy, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he knows what he's saying and where the ball should be going.
I think Baker won a lot of fans over yesterday with that performance.
Me,
one of the more impressive things I've seen on a football field in a long, long time. Because you look at the Raiders' defense. Chandler Jones coming off a 3-sack game, and then Max Crosby, who I want to get into with you because we're discussing him before the show. A lot of Raider fans believe Max could be DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year. And I watched him, probably last night was the first time I really, really watched him. I was like, damn, he's good against the run. He might be better against the run
Nobody's better against the run. Nobody. In the whole league. Nobody's better against the run than Max. We can get into it. But the thing is, like, if you look at Sean McVay, you think about it, okay, he had Jared Goff, the number 1 pick, overall pick, and he struggled under Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
He comes in, he takes him to a Super Bowl.
He looked way better.
Matt Stafford was in Detroit for a dozen years. We never thought Matt Stafford was a gamer.
Yeah.
We never thought that because we never saw it.
Yeah.
Horrible organization, changes. He comes here, wins the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield, what's he like? They ran him out of Cleveland. He couldn't sustain a job in Charlotte and with Carolina, and here he is, and he's going to be their starting quarterback. And you go, maybe you just need a really great coach and system with a talented player. And maybe that's what it exposes, is all these other people out there that just don't understand like how to put concepts together and make this guy better.
So is that what it is with McVay? Because obviously the charisma, it pops off the screen. Everyone can see the charisma, and there's more to his skill set. I feel like we overrate the charisma and maybe underrate the play calling. What is he doing schematically to help these guys? Because Goff, you're right. I mean, we watched him with Fisher. He was terrible. Terrible. Todd Gurley, we knew there was talent, but we couldn't see it. And then all of a sudden, boom, MVP. Like, what is it about McVay and him utilizing talent?
I think he has an unbelievable eye for what's happening in a game. If you ever watch Sean during a game, Kyle's the same way. But they're 20 yards behind the offense, and they're looking at it from the end zone, from like 10,000 feet. Okay. So whether it's corners are inside shaded, where the safeties are, the rotation, like he just has a feel and then an anticipation of what the defense is doing, just from a weeks of study and the ability to compile massive amounts of information and just be able to see it clearly from that position that he stands at. And so he has a very, very clear picture of what the defense is doing. Once you get that, then you can start to really counter what the defense is doing. And very few people can see the game like that.
Looking at the Rams just overall, because obviously we pay a lot of attention to them in the NFC West, play the Niners obviously twice a year. Jalen Ramsey, look, I love the matchup between him and Devontae Adams. Devontae, as you mentioned, made some great catches against him. Is Ramsey, a lot of people believe that Ramsey is taking a step back as a corner. What have you seen on film? Because you know it better than all of us when it comes to Jalen Ramsey.
So I'm a Jalen Ramsey fan. I know DK Metcalf beat him for a touchdown to win the game last week. I don't know what Taylor Rapp is doing. Like, you can say, okay, Jalen, you take DK, no help. Well, why? I mean, you got guys guarding grass.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you help? Like, he's got inside, he allows the inside release, and Jalen's right there. Like, he's just a Superman flying over the top. He's 6'3", he's long. He can jump to the moon. He was a phenomenal decathlete. He could have gone to the Olympics in the long jump, like all these skills. Here's the thing about Jalen. If he doesn't have Devontae, if he doesn't have DK, where he can try to do his best to lock him up, he's like that right fielder in a T-ball game. Like, he just gets bored.
Yeah.
If he's not getting action, he gets bored. Mm-hmm. And he I don't know if he's got a hole in his glove, to use a baseball reference. The guy seemingly can't catch. Like, the guy makes, like, he never puts up numbers.
That's called the Glen Allen Hill. Glen Allen Hill used to have a hole in the glove. Yeah. He'd look at the glove. My dad goes, it's not the glove's fault. It's you. Catch the rock.
Yeah, he dropped 2 picks in that Niners game, Jalen Ramsey. It could have been game changers.
He just, I don't know what it is. If his eyes get too big, if he panics in a moment, he's so hungry for him.
Yeah.
Like, he wants him too hard. And if you talk to guys that have great numbers of interceptions, like Kevin Byard, I was talking to him last week, the safety in Tennessee. Yeah. He doesn't have a single interception this year. He had 25 coming into the season.
That's crazy.
And I told him, I said, you know they come in bunches, Kevin. Like, it's going to come, but you can't force it.
Yeah.
If you force it, then you're going to be out of position. You're going to make mistakes.
Right.
You have to play the game. You got to play in phase. You got to play in phase. Like, to play out of phase, like, nobody's going to benefit by that.
Man, I was going to say, off the top of my head, I think there's a guy, Krause, who is
Paul Krause.
Yes.
Yeah, Minnesota
81
safety.
Interceptions.
Is it in the 80s?
I think it is. I'm going to look it up. I think it is. I know Ronnie got to 60-something. Ronnie locked it.
Rod Wilson's up there, right?
Ed Reed's in the 60s.
Reed, yep.
I just saw Everson Walls at a Cowboys reunion.
Oh, yeah.
He's got 57, and it pisses me off he's not in the Hall of Fame. And if you count the postseason, which I do, he's got 61.
Did Everson Walls end up playing for the New York Giants?
Yes.
Here we go.
He's on that 89 team.
Yes. 86. No, 90. The 90 team.
The Bills,
91 in Tampa.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Here are your top 10 all time. We'll go down from 10.
Okay.
Dick LeBeau, Dave Brown have 62. Darren Sharper, Ronnie Lott, 63.
Yep.
Ed Reed, 64 at 7. Ken Riley and Charles Woodson, 65 at 5. Dick Night Train Lane from the Detroit Lions at number 4 with 68. Rod Woodson, Bonte's boy, at 71.
Really good player.
Emlyn Tunnel, I don't know that name, 79. And then Paul Krause at 81.
There you go. Nice call. Yeah.
You like
safety
that,
for the Vikings. I used to work for the Vikings when I was a kid. So I sold.
Really?
Yeah, I sold Pops.
Really?
I sold Pops at the stadium.
At the old Met?
At the old Met, yeah.
They need to go outdoors, Baldy.
Yeah.
I'm going to get your thoughts on that. Like, those Midwest teams, those East Coast teams.
They were outdoors at the Met, and both teams were on the same sideline.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, both teams were on the same sideline.
Yeah.
Because of the way the stadium was cut.
You know, the Green Bay Stadium, they used to play at the Brewers Stadium in Milwaukee. They used to be on the same sideline.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. We got Baldy in
all
day